My father's bellow echoed off the worn beams of the fishing cabin in Newport, Oregon. "You don't belong with the giants," he roared. At 67, he was like a rock among his dockworker friends, his words a public verdict that cut deeper than the cold Pacific air outside. The laughter that followed was a harsh wind. Every snicker was a reminder that I, Clara Thorne, was a footnote in his life story. At 39, a newly promoted Coast Guard, Captain My Hands still held the grit of countless rescue missions in stormy seas. But to him, I was the daughter who never shone bright enough. In that crowded cabin in Newport, he didn't know. None of them did. That his disapproval was about to flip everything on its head, and the truth I'd earned would fill the room with light. I hadn't been in Newport for 10 years. The Coast Guard had shaped me, pulling me into dangerous waters to save lives while waves crashed around me. My father's salt-stained house hadn't changed. Same old creaky dock, same rusty buoy bell, same heavy quiet that clung to every corner. He sat carving a piece of driftwood, his fingers steady as the tides. I asked about his retirement party, hoping for some warmth. "Only the big names get a seat, Clara," he said, his eyes on his knife. "Not you." The words stung like salt in a wound, a feeling as familiar as my childhood. I nodded. "Understood." And I left a gift, a braided rope bracelet my mother once wore before I slipped out. I wasn't going to stay to be belittled again. My mother, Alara, was my safe place. She died when I was 18, her spirit worn thin by years of my father's heavy expectations. Before she left, she gave me a scratched compass. "Its needle is steady. Don't let him make you small," she whispered, her voice a lifeline. I held on to that. My father's pride was saved for my brother, Ethan, the architect whose city designs were his proudest boasts. At dinner, he'd talk about Ethan's skyscrapers while my mother quietly gave me the warmest bread. Her look said, "You're enough." At 22, I joined the Coast Guard, diving into storms to pull sailors from death's grip. "Hold on," I'd whisper to a man caught in a strong current, my arms burning as I swam. Those moments made me a leader. But in Newport, I was just Leo Thorne's girl, the one who left to chase waves. The fishing cabin was full that night, the air thick with butter and salty steam. My dress uniform gleamed every pin. Polished, my boots catching the light from the lanterns. I planned to drop off my donation and disappear, but my father stepped forward, his smile sharp for the crowd. "Only the big names get a seat, not you," he said, his voice booming. The room went silent, fork stopped in midair, eyes looked away. My fingers found the compass in my pocket, its weight calming me. I turned to leave, then a voice cut through. "Captain Thorne over here. Admiral Claire." Thompson, her uniform shining with 2 stars, stood at the door. Her presence calmed the cabin like a quiet sea. She took my arm, leading me to a small stage. Murmurs spread. My father's jaw tightened. Thompson's voice rang out. "We are honoring Captain Clara Thorne tonight." The title hit like a big wave. A tough old sailor tapped his cup. Thunk, thunk, a silent sign of respect. My father scoffed to his friends. "She's just catching waves." No one laughed. The tide had turned. Thompson spoke again, revealing the Alara Thorne Fund for coastal kids to follow their dreams. My mother's name lit up the room, her photo glowing next to a flickering lamp. Ethan jumped up, his voice sharp. "This is Dad's night. Clara, not yours." Whispers started, some agreeing with him, others watching me. I held my compass, my breath steady. Thompson's gaze silenced Ethan. Her authority was a solid wall. The room was split. Some stuck with my father's old view. Others leaned into the truth now coming out. The ceremony went on. My father was called to pin my captain's bars. His hands shook as he fastened the silver anchor, muttering, "Didn't see this coming." The cabin roared with applause, a wave crashing over me. I stood silent. The truth spoke for me. Later, he pulled me aside, his voice low. "Let's not let the photo show her solid." I held his gaze. "No, let tonight stand." He froze small for the first time. Ethan stormed out without a word. At dawn, I knelt at my mother's grave. The ocean was steady. I left her compass by her stone, whispering. I didn't get small. Driving away from Newport, the harbor sparkled under the sunrise. Gulls flying free. Revenge wasn't loud. It was owning my story, stepping out of his shadow and letting the truth sail free.